Good afternoon here from Palm Springs, California. Valerie Milano, the senior editor of the Hollywood Times and Aspiring Magazine. And I want to thank our guests today for joining us. And I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My name is Erin Williams-Weir, and I'm the producer and co-creator of Never Get Busted.
I'm David Anthony Ngo. I'm a writer-director.
Wonderful. And what is your accent from?
Australia.
Okay. Thank you for joining us here. And we're going to talk about Barry Cooper and his whole movie here that you guys produced called Never Get Busted. That's already played at Dances with Films. But where are you guys going to play next?
So we're going to play in Dock Edge in New Zealand, and we've got other festivals confirmed, but we're not allowed to announce them yet, so we have to find out soon.
Okay, that's not my luck then. Anyway, so Barry had spoken about a deeply affected person that he is. And I want to know what, in your opinion, shifted his views? Like what happened and why did it push him over the edge?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I think he was in a particular kind of place in his life, and having seen what he'd seen as a police officer on the streets of Texas and seeing how it was really affecting relatively ordinary Americans and the sort of illegal tactics that the police were using at the time, I really think it came to a head and a crisis of conscience of what he was doing, and that kind of turned him off into a very different direction.
Yeah. So the film follows not just his transformation, but the fallout legally, personally, socially. What was it like to him, and maybe even to you guys knowing his story? What was that like?
Yeah, we dive into all the different sides of the drug war on this and the cost of activism. Barry has been on all different sides of it, and he's been through a lot. His family's been through a lot. And it really dives into the tale of what it takes to stand up for things that you believe in, but also the costs of doing that. So it's quite a roller coaster in terms of the activism that Barry had done, but also the toll it took on himself.
So once he left law enforcement, he took an unusual route, using stolen police tapes to teach people how to hide drugs. So that's basically what this film is about. So what do you think motivated that?
I think a combination of things. I think after he left the police, it was an opportunity for him in terms of using his police knowledge in another way. I think that his wife and partner at the time really made him see the drug war in a very different light. And it was a very unique way of doing something about it. He was essentially a whistleblower. One of the things that he came out as one of the first people to talk about is how police train drug dogs, but they also train drug dogs to false alert, and it gives them probable cause to search people's car and persons simply based on hand gestures or vocal commands that a dog can therefore scratch your car or signal in some other way that on camera looks to the rest of law enforcement and to the judge and to juries as, oh, the dog alerted because there were drugs in your car, but actually it's because the officer gave them a command to do. And so he was telling all these secrets that police had and the way that they used them day to day on the streets of Texas and America.
Yeah, this story is a national media story, but now he could also be a target. Did you ever find him fearing for his safety or his freedom during any of this time?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it got really out of control later on. And he talks about this a bit in the documentary, that when he did the Never Get Busted DVDs and released that information, that was one level of retaliation that he received, which would more be categorized as harassment, police harassment. But it really went to another level when he started busting crooked cops on camera and releasing it for the public to show what they were doing. I think at that point, he elevated himself from perhaps a nuisance to an actual threat. And we see what the police and law enforcement do to deal with that threat. And it certainly cost him a lot, and it cost a lot for a lot of people around him as well.
What do you both think viewers should take away from this documentary, especially those who may not have known much about the troubled teen industry or drug wars, human cost.
For sure. We hope audiences really come in with an open mind. We're here as objective filmmakers to just ask questions. So depending on what sides you are or where you land politically, we just hope that everyone have an open mind and see the different sides of the drug war, the different people that are involved in that. To ask questions would be my hope for audience.
Yeah, we very much came in as people with an open mind to all the people that we interviewed and spoke to, and really just wanted to capture their story and see this idea of justice within the US play out through the story of a very divisive person in the war on drugs. And so I guess what we want people to take away from it is to maybe look at the problem from multiple sides rather than us coming in with any political agenda or anything like that.
So how did it feel, you guys, to share this story at Dances with Films, and why is this the right moment and place for your film if you could answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. We had our premiere at Sundance earlier in the year, and we were able to share this at Dances with Films as well here in LA. And it was an amazing experience with huge thanks to Jackie Temper, who helped program us to be here, and to play at the Chinese Theatre was a fantastic opportunity. Barry got to come back here for the first time in 13 years, and he was here for the Q&A. It was quite emotional. There's a lot of questions, and there's no doubt we'll see what Barry gets up to in the next little while being back in the US. But it's been such an amazing opportunity to keep sharing this story with audiences.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think that there needs to be a specific time for this story, in the sense that there is always, unfortunately, corruption, there's always tyranny, there's always certain police officers and that will take things into their own hands and break the law themselves. And every time, we've been working on this for 6 years, and it feels as current as the day we started on it. You see what's going on both in the US and around the world. And unfortunately, things don't change, or they change very slowly.
Okay. So what's next? I know that you're going to do some more film circuit festivals. And are you thinking about your next project? Are you thinking about any more things on activism or media? What other media work are you looking at in the horizon?
Yeah, currently I'm writing a script which feels like very much a follow-on from this story. It's a true crime story, also in the world of drugs and stranger than fiction narrative that happens. And I've been working on that for the past 6-7 months. And now that I've got a script, that feels like that's gaining momentum, particularly as this film's starting to come out. So very much looking forward to both sharing Never Get Busted with audiences, but also getting my teeth stuck into a whole new story.
Yeah, and similarly in the doc space, I'm developing a few things that are still staying in that kind of true crime, crazy worlds. We worked on this for 6 years, but I feel like we've got a bit of a passion in that space, and we always end up trying to find, or maybe they end up finding us, these interesting characters that stories have to be told.
This was definitely interesting. I really enjoyed watching it. And how can our readers and viewers find more about you two and more about this movie? Social media or websites or what?
Yeah, social media would be the best to connect with the film and ourselves. So our social media at Instagram is at Never Get Busted Film, and you can find the same on Facebook as well.
Yeah. And my personal Instagram is just Dave_NGO is my surname.
Beautiful. Okay. We're the Hollywood Times today, and our YouTube channel is the Hollywood Times Official. We're also got a hard copy magazine called aspiringmagazine.com. And I thank you both very much for your time in this story. And please tell Barry the same thing. And hopefully you'll keep in touch so I can hear about what you're going to do next.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Cheers.